Hey y'all, this is Pastor Murray. It's 100 degrees today and I'm going to show you how to keep your bait alive, especially blueback herring, gizzard shad, and any other bait you would use. We're ready to try out the bait tank, demo it to you. Just a word about the Fluval ammonia remover bag. Be sure to rinse it really well before you put it in because it will cloud up the water. You can rinse it with a hose pipe or at the lake, just swish it in the water real good and drop it right between the filter bag and the bilge pump. And I just shove mine up against the bilge pump because when that water comes in, it'll go through that filter bag and take out the ammonia in the water that all these bait fish produce. So I'm going to show this to you before I turn on electricity. You see both sides of the tank are the same, and this water on the left side of the partition will end up on the right side, and this will empty out. So this level will raise, this one will lower. So you'll see this water immediately dropping on this side, and I want to show you the inflow coming through that filter bag, and that filter bag is washable. I mean, I'll wash mine out a week every time I use it. I wash it, turn the inside out and wash it. Spray water hose. Now you hear it sucking air. So this is the correct operation of this filter aeration system with the nano bubble. This will keep your bait alive all day. Again, in hot summer, you have to put ice bags in it as soon as you put your bait in, cool the water down. Here's the main components of my bait system for a kayak or a small boat. This is a 52 quart Coleman marine cooler, and we're going to convert it into a Livewell bait tank that is beyond anything you would ever expect. You can keep blueback herring alive in these things on the hottest of days. And if you can keep blueback herring alive, you can keep anything alive. So main component again is the Coleman 52 quart cooler. Another component is a 5-gallon bucket. I cut the wall out of a 5-gallon bucket and I'm going to glue it into this cooler. So what I'm making a partition, and when you have water that's higher on this tank side and the pump is pumping the water out, the water pressure pushes water through, it's going to be connected. The two walls are going to be connected by this intake made out of PVC, 3/4 inch PVC, and you see 8-inch filter bag on it that's going to catch all the scales. So the water will be going in on these 1/4 inch holes, and we'll drill a hole after I glue this partition in. We'll drill 2 holes in that partition. One will be for the 3/4 inch intake, and the other will be for this 350 gallon per hour bilge pump. So we'll drill it in, and there's nothing else used on this thing. The components, once we put water in and bait, we use Fluval ammonia remover, and that this bag here will work for at least 4 weeks. My fishing trips, I'll get 4 good fishing trips, 10 to 12-hour days out of this, and each fishing trip I put a cup of rock salt, diamond crystals. You can get those from Tractor Supply or Home Depot or Lowe's. But we'll show you how to make this, and also I'll have this 3/4 ID reinforced tubing to come through that wall. The complete system built like your commercial systems, and the good news about this system is simple. It uses a 350 gallon per hour bilge pump, and there's no restriction on it. When you use a Venturi, you're trying to force water through a small diameter, and you're creating a suction, and that works. That puts that sucks in air. But the problem is the downfall of those systems, and I found out the hard way, if you get any kind of scale into your system or debris into that venturi, it'll clog up and your system will fail. With this system, the main principle is when this is full of water, the water pressure is pushing water through this intake into the empty tank, and that's catching all your scales. And this system operates also under the principle it's trying to put out more water than it can take in. So this pump is sucking air. Now, normally that sounds like a bad thing when a pump sucks air, but in this case, that air, that pump turns that air into nano bubbles, and this water turns white because it's saturated with oxygen. So the fish live all day long. This filter bag catches the scales all day long. You don't have to empty it, and everything works. The temperature starts heating up mid-spring and all. I use ice bags. I usually take 4 or 5 quart Ziploc bags, and I freeze water. If you don't have time to freeze water, you can just put the ice in from your ice maker. But normally I fill up the bags full of water and freeze those. Freeze these for a day, and there'll be solid blocks of ice. And I drop those into the bait tank after I put my bait in. What I do, I take a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot, and actually I buy the white food grade bucket, and I split it in half, and get 2 halves out by cutting the bottom and then cutting the top portion off. And you notice I put radii on the bottom, radius to fit into the bait tank here. And also you'll notice I've got the bait tank pre-marked. I'm going to be gluing that shortly, but I marked it so once I put my glue on, I'll have to sand the surfaces I'm going to glue. I'm going to pre-sand them with 220 grit sandpaper. And so I've got it marked so I can get them back on. And I'm going to use the amazing Goop marine grade. This stuff works. I've built a previous tank last year. I've used it all year. It works well. I just want to do a clean build so I can show you. And of course, I'll have another tank to use. Also, these clamps are nice to have to hold it in place. And also, I use some bamboo stakes for the garden to push it into place. And you notice on this Coleman marine cooler on this one wall, it's got a little indentation. I used a heat gun to push that in. I heated the 5-gallon bucket portion to I heated it and pushed it in with one of these bamboo rods. So that works well. These clamps help me to hold it in place. So once I get this glued, it takes at least 24 hours for the glue to set up. We'll get that done and drill some holes. It's a simple build. It really doesn't take long. The biggest time is getting your sheets out, your partitions out of the 5-gallon buckets. The cost of this build is going to be anywhere between $95 and $110, depending on what kind of price you can get your Coleman 52 quart marine cooler from. Also, a good alternative to use is the 54 quart Igloo marine cooler. Works just as well. But I bought this Coleman on Amazon Prime Days. They actually had it for $38, and currently it lists for $54. So that's why the price can vary. I'm gonna go through different components and show you. the work done. I'm not going to show you how to do the work. Assume if you're a do-it-yourself guy and you're going to build a bait tank, you already have all that knowledge and skill. Okay, so I'm going to show you the components, just very few pieces of PVC. We'll take it step by step. So first we've got a 3/4 inch PVC end cap. Then we've got, I take a 3/4 inch PVC coupling and I cut it in half, split it in half. And then also I cut a slot in one of the halves, and I'll show you what that's for on this assembled piece. First, I'm going to go ahead and take this off so you can see. Okay, so this is a 3/4 inch elbow, so that's essential. And the pieces that are split, that's, you can see the slot in this. This is going to go into, when I drill the hole in the wall of the bucket, a 1-inch hole. This is going to, actually it's 1 1/16 inches. When I drill that hole, I'm going to push this pipe through the bucket and put this against the back wall and this against the front wall. It's kind of a little bit snug, and I'm going to test it before I glue it. Don't glue anything, especially this part. You never want to glue it because you're always going to be taking it out at least once at the end of your fishing trip or before you go, so you can attach the filter bag to it. So I'll pull this out. Currently I've got a 6.5 inch PVC length of a 3/4 inch PVC. 6.5 inches, and I've drilled a series of 1/4 inch or 9/32 holes all the way through. Just a random pattern, but I try to put them straight through on the side. Okay, so that's going to be the intake. Now, the trick on the intake versus outtake, the pump is pushing water back into the tank, it's outtake. So the intake, the rule at intake, you don't want it intaking more water than it can output. Because for this principle to work, the bilge pump has to be sucking air. The bilge pump has to suck air. It's not under load. I've used this bilge pump for a year. It works fine. So normally you would not want it to suck air, but we're using that as the simplest tool to infuse air into our system. And when I'm talking about this air, I'm talking about the finest nano bubbles you can imagine. So just want to show that to you. Also, I made maybe this a little bit extra long, and we won't glue anything on it until we prove it out, because my other system had a little bit different intake. So I might have to shorten this, and as I shorten it, I'll reduce the intake, or I might have to drill more holes in it. But I can always shorten it and put this cap on the end. So depending on the size of your bait tank and also the size of your bilge pump, 350 gallons works fine for, this is a 13-gallon tank. Actually end up with probably 11 gallons of water in the bait portion of the tank. So that's going to be the trick. The other component is a 3/4 inch PVC by 3 inches long, and the other half of the PVC coupling that I cut in half, but I didn't put a split line in it. I shoved it up into it, and I had to hammer it down flush. So this is creating a neck on here that the filter bag can connect to, and you can tie that and it'll stay on. So that's simplicity, and that's what we mean to do. And again, you can get this 3/4 inch tubing, reinforced tubing at Ace Hardware or another hardware store. You can buy it by the foot, and we just need and once we drilled a hole for the pump, we can shove this onto the pump nozzle, outtake nozzle from the outside of the tank. So again, this is about 1 inch in diameter. So that's simple. So that's the components. I'm going to sand and get ready to glue this. So I won't show you the sanding, but again, it's 220 grit sandpaper. We just want to make sure those edges are roughed up. And this contact glue, this amazing Goop marine grade, you need to let it air dry maybe a minute or so, a minute and a half per surface before you put it on both surfaces, before you put it together. And then I'll have it clamped and wedged with those bamboo sticks. So let's see what happens. Hey y'all, just a couple of tips. When you cut the length of the 5-gallon bucket, you need to have it 3/4 of an inch lower than this lid, because the cooler lid has this 3/4 inch step. So you need to have at least 3/4 inch lower than this cooler lid, but you don't want it too low, because you don't want the blueback herring or other bait jumping over this partition into the pump side of the partition, because live blueback herring or shrimp or other bait can actually clog up your. So just note, I put a bevel on each edge. See this cut on each edge, and that ensures that I will not be interfering with my cooler lid. So actually it's a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. Just mark it and cut a straight line. I used a utility knife to cut that, worked well. You can see where I marked the interior of the cooler with the Sharpie, and those are, I'm going to sand it on the inside of the line to make sure, and maybe even sand the line away a little bit, so I can make sure that it's got a rougher surface for that amazing Goop to adhere to. Strongly advise using the amazing Goop marine grade, because it sticks. It's hard for anything to stick to inside of these coolers. Now, it doesn't weld it, it sticks, and that's all you need for this particular setup. Before you glue your partition, your bucket half partition into the cooler, go ahead and mark your hose for the bilge pump, just so we get it to the right height. Basically, we want this bilge pump sitting on the bottom of the cooler. So just any level surface, and I'm just going to mark it. It doesn't have to be exact, but it gives me a good idea when I use my hole saw that I don't get too far off. So like I say, we've got a general idea. The idea is that we want to be able to access this portion of the tank, the pump side. Put your spacing about a length of a fist, okay? Length of a fist would be about right. That way you can get your hands in there, do any necessary work you need to do. It makes it a lot simpler. And also, when we put our intake in, and again, I've got it turned backwards, but I'm going to mark it, but I'm going to put it at an angle toward the corner, so that way I have the maximum amount of room. And I'm going to use the spacer as my template to mark the circle. So just want to show that to you. Don't drill those holes until you have it glued and the glue has cured for 24 hours. So that's just a tip. Okay, y'all, I've got it glued, I've got it wedged, I've got it clamped. And also I put 3 bean bags on top to have downward pressure to get a good seal. So we'll let this cure for 24 hours, at least a minimum of 24 hours. and then we'll go from there. Because I might have to run another bead around it. We'll just try it out. But it doesn't have to be exactly watertight, but I would like for it to be, really secure. I'll give you a couple of tips. I'm going to be drilling 2 3/8 inch diameter holes on either side of the handle, just at the seam, just above the seam here. I'm actually going to drill them on the pump side. So those 2 holes, they're important, these 2 holes, because they allow fresh air to come into the tank and let the gases to escape. So I think it's important to put it on the pump side, one for intake air and the other to exhaust the air. So that's my theory on that. I'll be using 3/8 drill and to do that. Also, when I drill the 1 inch diameter holes for the pump, I got to match this for the pump and also for the PVC. The PVC's, like I say, about 1 inch 60 thousandths or 1 1/16 in diameter. So that hole's going to be a little bit small. I don't have a 1 1/16 drill, but I do have a little sanding disc that I'll use. Also, I failed to mention this. After you sand the surfaces that you're going to glue, both surfaces, be sure to sand both surfaces. Be sure to clean it good with rubbing alcohol. So one more tip. On my pump, I use these waterproof 2-pin connectors. You can get those on Amazon. I'll leave a link, but that helps to keep the water out, because when you add salt to this water, it is corrosive. So believe me. So just wanted to show that to you. And also, you need a fuse here. Don't put a big fuse in. It'll burn everything up if a short happens. Better to be smaller than too large. Okay, so this is still this lid. Another tip: be sure your lid seats good after you glue it. The glue is dried. It's been 24 hours, and so to be fully cured, the label says 7 days. But I think after the first 24 hours, the exterior is good and dry. And let's drill some holes. Marked my holes before I glued them, but I'm going to double check just to make sure the alignment's pretty close, and that looks good if you notice. So I'm going to drill this hole straight in, and this hole, again, I use one of these sleeves as a template. So we've got it marked. I'm going to drill it kind of toward the corner here. This, I might start it on an angle and then turn it, because I need to get my pilot hole in. So see what I'm doing? I'm going to start it on an angle, and then I'm going to rotate my drill. That's the plan. There we have it. It's pretty good, not bad at all. So it's got to blow water this way and circulate around. Let's get this hole drilled. So we've got that hole in. Here's where I want to show you the important part of this design. And again, I'm not going to glue. Only place I'm going to glue is on this surface and this surface, only after I prove it out. Because again, as I mentioned, I might have to shorten this or I might have to drill more holes. It's important that the pump sucks air as well as blowing water. So we assemble it this direction. Let's see, just like that. Put that elbow on. That's why I left room so I can work on it. You make it too tight, you won't have access to it. So elbows on good and secure. And see, I can push this pipe out so the elbow is against the back wall and I can push this inside wall. You notice these holes are going horizontal, this set of holes, so I can pull the scales through. You don't want to drill the holes too small because the scales won't go through. You don't want to drill them too big because the fish, the bait fish, will get sucked into it. The final piece is the cap. So we put the cap on. Okay, so I can do what you call a double clove hitch and just pull it over. Or you might just want to use a zip tie to secure it. But that's it. That's going to catch all the fish poop and the crud and scales. So we'll slide this in. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see it, how it's assembled. And again, this wall here, when I glue it, I'm going to push it up against and make sure it's up against it tight. And I'll glue on both sides, and that will do the trick. So, okay, so I've got them glued and sealed. I'm going to let this glue cure, and then I'll cut these off shorter so they won't hang off of anything. But we got them in place. Hey y'all, I'm getting ready to glue in the back wall, the drain side wall of the bucket, the second half of the bucket. You actually need this to get the correct water circulation. So I've got 3 clamps, got a board I'm going to wedge with this weight. I've got it marked. I'm going to take a heat gun and just kind of shape this a little bit. But we want smooth surfaces. We want it to rotate the water circular. That's what the herring love. Also, you know, this heat gun is a valuable tool to have when you're doing this kind of work. And to harvest the bucket walls, this multi-tool is really very handy. So just a tip. Oh, I've got the second wall glued. It's still clamped the way I ended up gluing it after I used the heat gun on it to kind of shape it a little bit. Warning on the heat gun, be gentle with it. Just take your time, don't rush it. But the glue's set up, ready to take the clamps off, and just again want to show you how finally have it wedged and all. So we're going to remove these clamps and we're going to try it out. This is the finished bait tank with the lid installed. I just wanted to show you a close-up of the second half of the bucket wall, the way I shaped it with the heat gun. Just go gentle and slow with the heat gun. Take your time. See, we retained most of the shape. Couldn't get all of it, but it really fits very well. Y'all, just want to let you know this is my 5th year of trying to keep blueback herring alive in a kayak, and I tried all kind of different systems, and this system for last year has really performed well, and it will for you as well. So good luck on your build, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and we'd like for you to subscribe. That encourages me to make more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. God bless.